Back with you guys with reading from Land of Stories and Authors Odyssey, Chapter 2, which is called Grounded. Alex and Connor left their 6th grade classroom and found a neighborhood park where they could rest and form the next phase of their plan. It was an hour or so before sunrise, and the night sky was lightening with every passing minute. Everything was so quiet and peaceful, it was difficult to imagine how chaotic life was back in the fairy tale world, and what awful things their friends might be enduring. The closer it came to sunrise, the more people drove past the park on their early work commutes. Naturally, Alex had seen this many times before, but every car she saw gave her a small thrill. It had been a long time since she had been back to the other world, and it wasn't until this moment that she realized how much she missed it. "It's nice to see how little things have changed here," she said. "The fairy tale world changes so much I've never had a moment to catch my breath." Connor was only half listening. He flipped through the pages of his short stories and separated them into 4 stacks on the ground. "Great, they're all here," he said. "Starboardia, Galaxy Queen, The Ziblings, and The Adventures of Blimp Boy. Those are the stories with characters that can help us. We'll use the potion to travel inside the stories, find the heroes, and then take them back to the fairy tale world to help us fight our uncle's army." Alex had only agreed to her brother's plan because their options were so limited. The closer they got to actually going through with it, the more doubtful she became. It was one thing to travel into the book of classic literature, but an entirely different endeavor to go into short stories written by her brother. "Your stories sound more elaborate than I was expecting," Alex said. "I thought you wrote about our experiences in the fairy tale world and just changed all the names." "That's how it started," Connor said, "but after I got the hang of it, I might have exaggerated things a bit and taken some liberties. All good writers do, I think." "Liberties?" Alex asked fearfully. "Connor, what exactly are we getting ourselves into?" Connor waved it off like it wasn't a big deal. "Relax, there's nothing more dangerous than what we've already been through," he said. "Starboardia is a pirate adventure. Galaxy Queen is about space exploration. The Ziblings are a group of superheroes, and The Adventures of Blimp Boy follows a young archaeologist. It'll be a piece of cake." The summaries didn't comfort his sister at all. The twins were lucky they had survived their adventures over the years. If his stories were based on those experiences, Alex wasn't eager to relive them, especially if they had been exaggerated by her brother's warped imagination. "Are you sure this is going to work?" Alex said. "I don't mean to sound like a snob, but maybe we should stick to published stories." "Stop worrying," Connor said. "There are no evil enchantresses, no dragons, no French soldiers, and no literary armies. All my characters are based on people we know and love. They have the same bravery, intelligence, and compassion as our friends. They will want to help us. We'll be in and out before the antagonists even show up." "What are we going to do with your characters after we bring them out?" Alex said. Where are we going to keep them?" Connor had been so worried about finding his stories that he hadn't thought about what they'd do after they found them. "Good point," he said. "We need a place they can stay while we recruit the characters from the other stories. We also need someone to keep an eye on them so they don't wander off. Someone we trust completely who won't totally freak out about what we're doing." The twins thought about the perfect place and the perfect person for the job, but the candidates were few and far between. It had to be someone in the other world who already knew about the fairy tale world, someone who had seen magic before and wouldn't be alarmed by it. That person that had to be responsible enough to supervise several fictional characters and have enough space to host them. Alex and Connor came to the same conclusion at the exact same time. They looked at each other and knew they were thinking the same thing. There was only one person qualified for the task. "Mom," the twins said in unison. The resolution was immediately followed by an avalanche of guilt. Can't remember the last time we talked to Mom," Alex said. "Neither can I," said Connor. "She's probably worried sick." "We've been so busy trying to save the fairy tale world, we never had a chance to call home and check in," Alex said. "We're good people, but terrible children," Connor said. "Regardless of whether she wants to help us or not, we need to visit her so she knows we are alive," Alex said. "Let's hope she cooperates." The twins were in complete agreement. Connor gathered his stories and they headed out of the park. Alex followed her brother but was confused by the direction he was walking in. "Where are you going?" she asked him. "Home," he said. "But home is that way." "No, home used to be that way," Connor said. "Mom and I moved in with Bob after they got married, remember?" Alex's guilt had doubled by another avalanche. She was so out of the loop she didn't even know where her own family lived anymore. Whenever she thought about her mom and stepdad in the other world, she always imagined them living in the rental house that they had moved into when her and Connor's dad passed away. Perhaps the other world had changed her more than she thought. "I am the worst daughter in the world," she said. "This isn't going to be a fun visit, is it?" "Nope," said Connor. "Mom's going to be pretty upset with us when she sees us, and I don't blame her." They reached the edge of the park and Connor came to a stop. "Aren't you forgetting something else?" he said. "What?" Alex asked. Connor looked his sister up and down like it was obvious. "Alex, you're dressed like the Tooth Fairy," he said. "You can't go walking around the suburbs like that." "Oh," she said. "You're right. 1 second." With a quick spin, Alex transformed her sparkling dress and shoes into a t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers. "I forgot how comfortable otherworld clothes are," she said. "You look like you again," Connor said. "Now come on, the quicker we do this, the better." They walked through the neighborhood streets until they found Sycamore Drive. By now the sun had risen and Alex could see all the spacious homes on the street. She was delighted her mom and Bob lived in such a lovely neighborhood. Alex knew which house was theirs before Connor pointed it out because the flower beds were covered in their mom's favorite roses. "Hopefully they'll be home," Connor said. "They are usually starting a day shift or ending a night shift around this time." The twins walked up the curved path and knocked on the door. A few moments later their stepdad answered. Bob was still in his pajamas and on his first cup of coffee. His eyes were puffy like he had just woken up. The doctor did a double take when he saw Alex and Connor standing behind the door. "Good morning, Bob," Alex said cheerfully. "Nice to see you again." Bob rubbed his eyes and scratched his head. He wasn't convinced he was awake yet. Hi, he said. "Well, this is a surprise." "Is Mom home?" Connor said. "We have to talk to her." "Yeah, she's upstairs getting ready for work, boy. She'll be very glad to see you," he said. "Charlotte, you have visitors," he called into the house. The twins heard an window open above the porch. They looked up and saw Charlotte looking down at them from the second story, already dressed for work in her blue scrubs. Her face had many expressions at once. Shock she was looking at her children, relief that they were all right, joy that they had finally come home, but it settled on anger. "Hi, Mom," the twins said apologetically. "Inside, now," Charlotte said, and slammed the window. Connor gulped. "We're off to a good start." Before they knew it, Alex and Connor were seated on the living room sofa and their mom was furiously pacing in front of them. She was so upset she couldn't form the words to scold them. Bob sat in an armchair beside the twins. He peered cautiously over his coffee, afraid for their safety. "The new house is really nice," Alex said. "I really like how you decorate it." "Quiet," Charlotte said. "Do either of you have any idea what you put me through? I've been so worried I haven't slept in months." "We're really sorry, Mom," Connor said. "We didn't mean to worry." "Less talking, more listening," she said. "Do you know what it's like to go to the grocery store and be asked, 'How are your children doing?' and have absolutely no clue yourself? Do you know what it's like to hear nothing from your children from weeks at a time except, 'Sorry we didn't call you back, Mom, we had to fight a dragon,' or 'Gotta go, Mom, an army's invading the castle'?" Charlotte glared at her children as she waited for an answer, but the twins stayed silent. They didn't know if they were allowed to speak or if she was just pausing for dramatic effect. "For your sake, I hope your future children show you more respect and courtesy than mine have shown me," Charlotte went on, "because not knowing if your children are alive or dead in another dimension is the worst feeling you could ever have. It's worse than fighting enchantresses, it's worse than slaying dragons, and it's worse than battling armies. I promise you." Tears came to Charlotte's eyes and she looked away from the twins to wipe them with the tissue. The guilt that the twins felt before was nothing compared to the guilt they felt now. It tightened their stomachs and chests so much that they thought their bodies might implode. "Mom, we weren't neglecting you on purpose," Alex said. "We'd like to explain if you'd give us a chance. Something really terrible has happened and we need your help." "I don't care what's happened," Charlotte said. "There will always be another crisis in the fairy tale world to tend to. Your family should come first. That's what your father and I raised you to believe, or so I thought." "You did, and we do," Connor said. "But so many people's lives are in danger." "What about your lives?" Charlotte asked. "Since you were 13 years old, you have been so busy saving other people, you've never taken care of yourselves. Do either of you even know what today is?" Alex and Connor looked at each other, but neither knew what she was referring to. They quickly went through a mental list of possible holidays or special occasions that it could be, but both of them were blanking. "Is it your and Bob's anniversary?" Connor asked. Charlotte looked more heartbroken than ever. "No, today's your 15th birthday," she said. The twins were shocked. How could they have not known it was their birthday? Suddenly, everything Charlotte said made perfect sense. They were so occupied with saving other people that they were missing out on their own lives. Charlotte glanced at her watch and then grabbed her purse and car keys off the rack by the front door. "I have to go to work," she said. "Both of you are grounded." Connor glanced at Alex. "Wait, can she still do that?" he asked. "You bet I can," Charlotte said. "I want both of you to go upstairs to your bedrooms and stay there until I get home." "Do I even have a bedroom here?" Alex asked. Charlotte was offended she had to ask. "Of course you do," she said. "When I get back, we're going to go out for a nice family dinner to celebrate your birthday." "Mom, that sounds nice, but we're really pressed for time," Alex said. "Alexandra Bailey, it's the least you can do for me," Charlotte said. "After we have a nice family dinner and discuss normal family things, we can talk about what you need help with, but only after. Connor, please show your sister to her bedroom." Charlotte left for work, leaving her children in very uncomfortable positions. They were feeling so many different things: guilt, shame, disappointment, anxiety. They didn't know which emotion to settle on. Bob tried to break the tension, but even he didn't know how to. "So," Bob said, "happy birthday." That's the end of the second chapter. Our next chapter will be called The Fallen Emperor. I'll see you guys for that chapter. Bye.